AVTT helps translation teams organize the portions and passages that they will translate. They are organized hierarchically. Typically, on the highest level, translation teams organize their text according to portions of the Bible. That is, maybe according to books, the Gospel of Mark, the Gospel of John, or they may organize them according to chapters. The chapter 1 of Mark, chapter 2 of Mark, chapter 3 of Mark, or according to narratives within a book or within a chapter. These portions then are organized into passages in oral Bible translation projects. Often these passages represent a section of Scripture that's internalized in one sitting, in a morning, for example. So the passages represent often a chunk of a unit of Scripture that can be studied at once and then translated and recorded. These passages then can be organized and divided into verses. That is, the canonically designated sections of a biblical chapter. And then in turn, passages or verses can be divided into segments, or can consist of segments of units of a passage of a biblical text. Let's turn to AVTT and demonstrate how to do this. If we begin on the main editing page, which is the default page when you enter the AVTT site, you want to move to the portions editor page, which is found by clicking on the icon, this pie icon in the main menu here of AVTT. You will see that it's empty at the moment. So here's a common way that a number of OBT, oral Bible translation projects, organize their texts according to chapters. Let's take, for example, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1. A portion is added by clicking on the plus sign and entering the text Mark 1. One step that you will not understand right now, but you will later, is that at this point you must associate this designation here of Mark 1 with a reference text, a written reference text. So you find that reference text here and you type in chapter 1. So now the recordings that are made in this portion will be automatically associated with Mark 1 and any written reference text. So we'll continue. We click on the plus sign for add a portion. We enter the name of that portion. We associate that designation with the reference recording. Again, you might not understand what that means now, but you will later. And it's best to enter those into your AVTT project now when you're just beginning. So I add another Mark 3 that will be orally translated and recorded, and we'll associate that with the written reference text for those that will use that. So now we've created 3 chapters here as portions of biblical text that you will plan to translate and record. Now we will also see, now if we click on the icon of the headset, we return to the main editor, and we will see that all 3 of those chapters have been added here. We'll select Mark 1. Now, as I said earlier, chapters then are organized according to passages. A common way in many OBT projects is to have passages that can be internalized, studied and internalized in a morning. A typical passage might be, for example, Mark 1, 1 through 8. So we've created that passage, and soon we will add recordings to this empty passage right now. But let me say again, just like we did in the portions page, now on the main editor page for the passage, we click on the editor and we see that the Mark 1 through 8 also needs to be added here. So again, that it will be associated with a written text. So whatever recordings we put in here will automatically, if wanted, if a translation team chooses to refer to written texts, and most do, it will be there. So another common division, though every project is different, will be Mark 1, 9 through 20. So we enter that in. We again remember to associate it with a written reference text here. In this case, it would be chapter 1, 9 through 20. And now, whatever recordings we make in here concerning verses 9 through 20 in here, the recordings will go here. They will be associated with written reference texts. Here is in English, here is in French, here is a Spanish, here is the Greek text for it that's associated this with whatever recordings we make here. So again, to summarize, we added our portions here on the portions page, which we went to by clicking on this icon here, the portions editor. We added those manually. We can continue so that all 16 chapters are there. We return to the main editor that's found on the main editor icon here, the headset. We see that all the chapters are here, and within each chapter we can have these basic divisions of passages, which are the basic unit of most oral Bible translation projects.